Hey, hello, welcome. My name is NK Hours, but in times my art is no longer crime. Sorry I'm really late. Meant to start like 45 minutes ago, but I was really lazy and didn't start eating until like 8. And then I got everything set up, and then I really had to go to the bathroom. So maybe it's a good thing I waited because I would have had to stop and go to the bathroom in the middle of the street, but whatever. Let me bring up my stream and make sure the sound is good. Make sure the sound is good. Do 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 do. Maybe you turn up the music just a scooch. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Talking while the sound is music is on. There we go. Just a bit. There we go. All right. There we go. We've got sound, we've got art, we've got everything you could ever want. Hello. My name is NK Hours, putting the time so my art is no longer crime today. We need to finish up the render here on poor old Pencillian. I started like 2 weeks ago, and then last week it was really not feeling it. And then finally this week I'm like, yeah, let's do it, let's finish. This guy deserves it. It's been a bit. He deserves it. I do not remember the studio. All right, I know what we need to do today. We did the shading here. We need to shade along in here. We need to shade the actual like metal up here. Although it's gonna be kind of interesting because it's really dull metal. So it's not gonna have like really any shine to it. But it is still metal. So that's gonna be kind of fun. As well as the eraser up here. I think I want to start on the eraser. That's gonna be like the easiest thing to start off with. There it is. I actually named everything, so it's so good. Now I can just come up here. I can just, okay, it's all coming back to me now. Just grab this color and just do this. You can't see this, but I can just make it darker. Yay! And then we can go ham again. Okay, I love me some clipping layers. All right, now we got interesting bits here. That is not nearly dark enough. Okay, that might be dark enough for some bits, but not right there. It's not nearly dark enough for our what we need it for. Okay, let's go down another like 20 here. Okay, there we go. Oh, I have the eraser. That's why. Oh my god, I can actually like press things with my thumb now. I just realized my thumbs are like my right thumb is now worse than my left thumb, which is a great sign, honestly. Okay, we got that, and then we need to put this over here. Ooh, we're gonna have like really weird shading here because the top part is going to be because it's curved, right? So we got some really weird shading here, actually, now that I think about it. Because the light's kind of straight on and above. Actually, the light's really just like straight on. Like they're taking a photo. So I guess, hold on. So I guess it's gonna go up and around kind of like that. think about how... I gotta think about how this... I just realized, you know, there's a bunch of things with art. You've realized, like, yeah, sure, of course I know how it falls on an eraser. Everybody knows that. I have no idea that. So that tells me it's going to be... It's just going to have softer edges like this. It's not going to be a whole big gradient. It's just going to be... pretty loose, soft edge like this. Yeah, I think this is what we want. And then this bit around here. Well, I think that's kind of it with the eraser. Well, no, because now it looks like... Okay, I think I got it a little bit too much going around. I think it actually needs to... It definitely needs to go up, but I don't need to show that much of it. I always wonder what I'm gonna do for drawing streams. Then I start and it's immediately like so apparent. Okay, there we go. And especially that little, especially it getting lighter towards the top, that's very necessary for this. So let's blur that a bit more. Yeah. Okay, there we go. It's still making it look like... It's like... It's still making it... It's making the... I'm doing something wrong here, because it's making the... Because the shadow is making it look like it has a... It's not... Shadow's wrong. Shadow's wrong. Shadow's wrong. Shadow's wrong. Shadow wrong. Door stuck. I need to go even more like this. There we go. There we go. Okay, that's a little bit better. Because the top's got to be smart. I think the top's got to be smart. The top's got to be curved. I think probably more than anything, highlights are going to be what defines this. Because, yeah, I forgot about highlights. There's definitely going to be some highlighted parts, especially on the eyes. That's the one part I'm like kind of dreading. I'm probably going to save for last because I don't have to do highlights. Oh my goodness gracious. Let's see, there's going to be a little bit of highlight along the top, I want to say. Man. These are things that you just know, but you have no idea. Well, you think you know, but you have no idea that you don't actually know. Until you have to draw them. Let's see, how does it look from a distance? For some reason, it's giving the look like... For some reason, it's giving the look like this is what's bothering me. It's giving it look like this area right here is like a flat surface that is facing like towards you. And that's wrong. That's just wrong. Okay, we're starting over. We're starting over. I've done this wrong. Okay. I think it actually needs to be more like... Let's try this. Okay, that's immediately better. The part was not the top, the issue was not the top part, it was the side bit, where I had it kind of going out like this. Okay. Alright, that's much better. Immediately like that more. There we go. Okay, because now it actually looks like now it actually looks like this is curved. Oh, it's pencil. Pencil's supposed to look at the top part, the flat part is on the top. Okay, there we go. Much better. Much better. Muchy. I'm kind of scared of the metal bit because I don't know how to do that. So we're going to move down here to the wood. Wood. Do. Phenomena. Do. Alright, this one's going to be a very like slow, gradual one for sure. Alright, and then... right down to about there, okay. Because there's a lot of diffraction on the wood surface. Okay, and then I'm going to make this bigger actually. Because we need this to be... yeah. We need this to be as light and diffused as possible. There we go. Easy. The wood was so easy. Look at that, already done. Already done. Okay. Now we have the graphite. Yay! Easy peasy lemon squeeze. Okay. And then this, we just need black. A little bit the edges. And then, I think this is going to be a purple like that. There we go. Although you can really see that the pencil's tip is just a little bit off center. Just a skoosh off center. Alright, I think this also needs to be wider. Hold on a second. There we go. That's much better. There we go. Okay. And now... I was working a little bit around the mouth earlier. I feel like I kind of nailed it. Like, you don't really notice it. Oh man, okay. I've been trying to think of a way to bring this up, but speaking of noticing things, this is better my mind. Have y'all seen what's been going on with Mexico? Holy crap. They try to pull a Trump and take down a cartel leader and... Let's see. I can't believe some of the stuff that's going on over there. Like, people in multiple provinces, multiple states within Mexico are just hiding inside while the cartels run wild, destroying, like, attacking police, military, everything. It's crazy. It's crazy. I hope this, honestly, I hope it gets a bigger military response and does something about it. Like, gee, many Christmas. I'd like to think there's nothing like that in America, but there probably is, let's be honest. Although those people are probably a lot more well hidden, probably a lot better connected. This guy apparently wasn't apparently he must have not had a whole lot of political connections if he was actually on the chopping block, because I'm sure there's some cartel leaders that are not on the chopping block like this, if you know what I mean. Alright, time to put off the thing that I've been dreading, which is the metal. Alright, this is supposed to be a pretty dun metal. It's like D-U-N, as in not shiny. It is still metal. I think we just, you know what, let's just do some basic shading on it and see what we can get. But I had no idea what was going on until I saw some random people being like, hey, I'm praying for everyone down in Mexico, stay safe and indoors, guys. I'm like, what's going on? And I looked it up and I was like, it's that kind of thing, huh? Let's see, okay, let's just bring this down. Alright. It's crazy over there. Holy cow. I mean, we've heard stuff for years about, like, hey, don't, like, go to this part of Mexico or whatnot. Like, as well as, like, American tourists who accidentally went somewhere that they shouldn't have and got killed by cartel members. Like, we've heard stuff about this for years. So, and, like, how much of a problem they were. Well, here's another issue. The light's straight on, so I've already made a mistake. So, I guess today is just finally something came to a head. Which is crazy. The fact that it's like closing down like municipal services and people are like hiding in their homes all over the whole stinking country is crazy. Absolutely insane. That should not have to happen because a cartel leader died. If anything, they should be hiding, but I guess that's not how things work. Okay. Lower the edge just a tiny bit. But man, it started out such a good day too, with America beating Canada for the first time in 46 years to win gold in hockey. That's crazy. I watched the women's team beat them. My work we have like these computers, not computers, well, they're technically computers, but these TVs that are all connected to like a central computer, and they just constantly like scroll through, and they're all over on the floor, and they're all on every floor, but they just show like basic announcements for like the month for everybody on that floor and in our department, which is great. And what they've been doing while the Olympics have been on is like Monday through Wednesday it shows the announcements, but then Thursday and Friday it's the Olympics. They have on all these TVs, and they have but every day they have one TV that's over next to like let's see, I work for the IT department, so they have one TV that's over next to like the big room where they keep that's locked up, where they keep like all the computers and whatnot. They have one TV over there that usually has like Sports Center on, but this time it's got the Olympics. Yeah. So, and just so happened, or maybe it was like Wednesday, maybe it's Monday, Tuesday, and it's like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday they've been showing the Olympics. So I haven't really been in on Friday. So I think it really actually has been like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. But they had the women's game on the other day. When the women's beat Canada, and I was like, oh yeah, it'd be nice if the men could beat them too. That'd be crazy. Lo and behold, they did this morning. I saw somebody's tweet, and this made me someone was like, man, today's gonna be the day. Where did it go? It was like, today's gonna be the day where, like, the one day in all of US history where you're gonna see the most, what's gonna be the most socially acceptable for people to be drunk at 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning. Or is it something along those lines? It was like, oh wait, I can't hear my music. Hold on, I just realized my music isn't playing. Why can't I hear my music? I can see it playing, but I can't hear it. What's going on? Oh, there we go. I just had the volume really, really... Didn't even notice. Okay. Can I be so real about something? I do not like touch controls on headphones. Like, I hate them. I hate them because I don't want to use them. There's a bunch of times where I'll need to like reposition them or something like that, and all of a sudden I've like skipped to the next song, or I've made or it makes the volume go down. The worst is when I'm like on a run or something, and because it goes off heat, so I'll have like a piece of sweat that will fall on these, because I always have my hair up like this whenever I'm working out, because having hair in your face is extremely annoying. So I'll have like a little bit of sweat get on it, and especially it always likes to get on my left ear, and this is the volume down button. So it'll get on here and it'll just crank my volume down. I have to stop running, I have to wipe off the stupid thing, and I have to like put it back on and turn up the volume and hope it doesn't just start like, oh, there's still like some sweat on there. I still see a little bit of residual heat, so we're gonna keep cranking down the volume, because surely that's what you want. No, what I want is I do not want freaking touch controls on my stupid earphones. If I'm gonna change the volume, I'm gonna pull out my device and do it like God intended. I don't want to be smacking around in my ears to move stuff around. I get stuff for like, if I want to, I can only have these paired to one device at a time, obviously, because that's most things. So you have to open it up, you have to make sure the two headphones are inserted, and you have to hold your fingers on top of the headphones to clear out the old connection and to set it up for pairing. That's normal. iPods have something similar, but they just have a button on the side that you hit. Which is probably a little bit easier, because it took me forever to figure out how to get those connected to anything else. I actually had to look up online the user manual and like dig through it to find that information. But stuff like that, yeah, I get it. But like, why do we need touch controls for everything else for a headset? Or like earbuds. We don't need touch controls for earbuds. It's actually more inconvenient to turn the... It's actually more inconvenient to like use these that only seem to want to work. It only seem to want to work when it's ever the most inconvenient. Rather than just change the volume on the device. Oh, and another fun thing, because I have long hair. Hold on, I'll show you this. I have another fun thing that sometimes, if it's like a particularly hot day or something, I'll have my earbuds in when I'm like going to the grocery shopping or whatnot, and I'll have them over my ears, and for some reason it'll just be like, oh hey, there's something warm on top of me. I'm gonna pretend that it's a finger, and I'm gonna make the volume go all the way down when it's really just my hair that's touching it. That's annoying too. I don't like that. I do not like that. It's so freaking annoying. So freaking annoying. So frackin' McGillicuddy annoying. We do not need touch controls for earbuds. We don't. We don't. Unless it's, you can put them on, I know you probably had to put them on there, because if you didn't, it would mean that you had to put a button on there to like reconnect or whatnot. And I understand that. But we don't need touch controls for anything else. Either put a button, either make the touch controls just for like pairing and unpairing and things like that, or put the button back on the device so you can clear out any connections and set it up to connect again. Like, I'm sure there are probably people that swear by them. People who like go through songs a bunch and just use them for music. No, I'm the kind of guy who, if I'm gonna go for like a run or something, I'm gonna put on a stream more than anything. Let's see. Although music does, like, if you can curate an actual like playlist, music does really help with, especially if you can time it right. Music really does help with working out. I'm gonna be honest, but I would much prefer to have like a stream on or something that I can listen to. So, because that also kind of takes my mind off of it and be like, oh, what are they doing on the stream, and trying to hear what's on there. And then, let's see, well, you will slow down a bit, but I more go for distance when I run rather than time, so I'm not looking to, listen, I'm in my 30s, I'm not looking to break any sprint records. Hell, if I can get back to a 9 or 8 minute mile, that would be nice. Or really just get it so that I'm not so lazy and sitting around. I don't eat a lot, but I'd like to get rid of a little bit of this belly I got going on. I got a dad bod without being a dad. Great. Got any of the fun of me. Got the bod without the fun part. Just got a bod. She looks more like a spare tire. Yeah, I need to get back into working out. I've been feeling that. For a while. Like, it's about time for me to start running again, especially with my hands feeling better too. I think I've always gone a little bit too hard in the past. Or I was doing it like way too often. And I was like getting really tired. Or I wasn't giving myself like proper rest. But because I'll always be like good for a bit and then I'll fall off hard, and I'll fall off for like a few months. Like months at a time. Okay, there we go. Like, what is it? I think I was running like, it was like summer last year is when I was like, fall or summer last year is when I was really like actually doing it. And then I fell off. Part of it is money, because I'm worried about like, well, I'm gonna be eating more food and need more protein and stuff like that, so I can't really afford that, but that's something that's pretty easy to deal with if I actually plan for it. And part of it was just, let's see, what was it? I had something going on. Oh yeah, I had this weird like pain in my right ankle, and I was like, I don't feel like pushing it. Like, and making things worse. But honestly, I think that pain might have been more due to me just sitting around for too long. I was finally using that ankle in the way that was supposed to be used. So, I don't know, we're getting back into it. Especially because I've been hitting a bunch of times where I've been getting so uncomfortable just sitting there that I have to like stand up because my legs just aren't getting like proper circulation anymore. So I'm like, okay, we gotta start this again. And I've been trying to walk more. The weather's finally getting better, so I don't really have a choice, to be honest. Let's see. I don't really have a choice. Let's see. I would like let's see. I do run better if I'm doing so outside and actually have like a goal. I figured out my little like block that I run around is exactly 0.4 miles. So if I run around it 5 times, that's 2 miles. 10 times is 4, 1.5. No, 2.5 is 1. So I've got that figured out. It's very inaccurate. I just drove around it one day. Just drove around it one day just to see, and it was 0.4 miles, like exactly. That's probably not exactly 0.4 miles. It's probably a little bit less because I'm running on the side of the road as compared to when I was driving it and I was driving in the middle of the road. So, but I can't run down the middle of the road, even in the middle of like a suburby like block, because there's a bunch of it that is like a super suburby street that doesn't have a lot of traffic. But not one of the streets. One of the streets is a, let's see, one of the streets is the main road that's in and out of this like tiny town, it's tiny suburb town. So, well, at least the main road from the town to the highway, I will say that. I took tomorrow off and it feels great. It feels great. Makes me wanna start a band. Mail time. Mail time. Mail time. Alright. What am I gonna do with these guys once I'm finished with them? That's the thing that I'm trying to figure out right now. Because I'm gonna go through the process of making them, but I actually gotta use them. What am I gonna do with them? I kind of know what I want to do with them. The problem is that I'm just, let's see, I spent so much of my life trying to be a normie. Trying to be just the least cringe guy on the planet. Trying and failing at that because I was extremely cringe. And no one ever took me seriously. But now I'm getting to a time in my life where if I had just leaned into that, a lot of people would have taken me a lot more seriously. I spent so much of my life being like, oh, especially when I was younger, just like hiding the stuff that I actually like to do, and feeling bad for it. Like, what is it? Watching anime. I've still only really watched like the big stuff. I'm such a friggin' normie, but for like the last couple years, especially with the streaming, I've been trying to not de-cringe myself, but kill the part of me that cringes. Just trying to rip it out. There's a few things that I will do to kind of help out with that. One of them, oh, hold on, let me grab this. Hold on. That I do in order to kill the part of me that cringes is I wear this out. It's a bomber jacket. It's like my favorite piece of merch ever. Look at that. It's in Treya's emerald shirt, and it's just got a big boobied girl on the back. I don't even think it says Vishoujo on here, because this was definitely, oh, it does. right there. no no getting rid of that. But man, yeah, that's also down there as well. But there's no getting rid of it. Like I know a Pari did a thing a while ago where they had like for some of Mouse's stuff, they had like a little thing that you could buy and iron onto her. A Pari stuff that you got to cover up the Bishojo symbol, which is like that's not a bad idea. Man, it still sucks what happened with Bishojo. If you had told me a year ago today that Bishojo was going to absolutely implode in the middle of the year, I would have laughed because they were at the top of their game. Anyway, we'll get back to that, but like I won't wear it out to like family stuff and like church or work or whatnot. But if I'm just going out for like, and it thinks that it's a pretty warm jacket, so I can only really wear it during the winter times. But anytime that I'm just going out to like get food or grocery shopping or run some errands, I'll wear that as a kind of like, well, the part of me that cringes because yeah, I'm wearing a big booty anime lady on my back. What of it? I feel super subconscious, but I'm doing it on purpose to kind of be like, well, I'm the only person that cares. Just me. I'm the only person that cares. And if people around me do care, they ain't gonna say anything. Most people don't even notice. So I might as well enjoy what I enjoy and just move on. And that's actually been kind of good. And I've been able to do it more and more and a lot easier. There was times I would feel a lot of anxiety about wearing it, but I'm getting to the point where it's like, I can do that more. It's a little bit easier, and I'll just kind of grab it. Let's see, I do the same thing. I have a Pari Mouse shirt as well that I'll do the same thing with. I'll actually get a lot of compliments on that shirt. It's a really nice sweater. It's just a little too short for me though. I have a really long torso. They don't make stuff. Most shirts are not made with tall people in mind. Because I wear a large shirt, but large shirts are always made for someone who's bigger and shorter. So me with Mr. like gangly long arms and slender man build, like a normal large shirt is only good for so long. Especially my long sleeve shirts. Like I have to be so careful. There's ones I just need to fully retire because I can't lift my arms up in them anymore. This one I'm wearing right now is passable. There are some that are just not. Some that are just not at all. So yeah. So it's so much fun. So much fun. I need to get more long sleeve shirts. One of these days. I have to spend money on other stuff first though. Actually, I have to save money first. I have to get to the point where I'm not going into debt every month, which I'm getting back towards. And I need to file my taxes tomorrow. That's going to help out a lot. Because apparently people are getting a lot back this year, which is nice. And I think I got maybe like 75 bucks. But if I can get back like 300 or 400 bucks, I'm gonna be finally in a position where I'm not gonna be paying like, because I'm not overspending each month. But problem is that I have like the late fees from like the overdraft fees. Actually, that's what it is. From like previous months are like catching up to me. So I will have overspent from that month from overdraft fees, and it goes over to this month, and I have actual overdraft fees from there, and I'm caught in like this loop. I've been fighting my way out of it. I'm almost free. I'm like, let's see, February's gonna help a lot because I'm getting paid earlier, which is nice. I don't have those extra like 2 or 3 days to kind of eat through my money. So, but March isn't gonna help much because I need to watch some of 7th Fest. So, but I'm also not going to be buying merch or anything. And I've been cutting back on a lot of stuff. I don't have any like channel memberships or anything right now. I'm not buying any merch or super chatting or doing anything. I never really super chatted anyways. I was always kind of the buy a channel membership kind of person, and then merch every once in a while was something struck my fancy. I'm kind of on the fence about getting Nimmy's like giant Napling plushie. I do like it, but at the same time, I just can't do that cost right now. Just can't do that cost right now. I did last week. I did do a bit of retail therapy when I was feeling real bad, and I rebought my channel membership to Shein. Like the one, I want to get it from Mint. There's just some people whose channel memberships, and I hear people like, yay, it's 2 years, and I'm like, oh, I could have that by now. And I want to do the same thing for Wilhelmina Frost. Those are like the 3 that I want really bad right now. Yeah, I said don't get gift memberships. Hey, so I found out that on YouTube you have to actually turn on the ability to get gift memberships. And as soon as I like turned it on for the first time, I got a ton. I think I got one to Jelly, I got one to Mint, I got one to Sheena, I got one to Crimson Rose. I got a ton. But then after that initial like, oh hey, you turned it on, here you can have all of these. After like that initial like, I think whenever you must turn it on, it must put you in like a priority, like it must put you in like some sort of like priority group or something. Because after that, I didn't get shit. I got like a bunch, or it was like a week period where I got a ton. After that, nothing. Nothing. Hold on, my lips are really dry. I've been dry all day. I've just been ignoring them and licking them. They hadn't been drying forever. Because the weather got nicer and it was like up in the 50s, 60s. It was nice. And then all of a sudden over the past couple days, it went back down to the 20s. Okay. Honestly, the metal looks nice. I'm not really sure what to do for the metal. Because it's supposed to be pretty dull, like done metal. I do need to be making this part underneath his eyes darker, I think. Because it looks weird. I feel like it needs to be darker. I feel like it needs to be the same color. Hold on. This is gonna bother me. Where did I put that? Oh, is that just straight up on his eyes? Razor eyelids. No, there's just an eyelid layer. Okay. Alright, we need to be making this just straight up darker. It looks too bright, and it's really messing with me. Oh my god, I also saw something on Twitter where a bunch of people were accusing this guy of being like an AI artist because like the very tips of like his line art weren't filled in, and I was like, oh, I'm glad I always fix this. But everyone was dogging on the person who was calling them out and saying like, yeah, that's just a fill tool thing. And then I saw a bunch of people in there were like, the fill tool does that? I always just I always just color everything in by hand. I'm like, you're crazy. Learn how to use a fill tool. It'll change your life. Okay, and then I think what we need to do is actually just do a little bit of this. Too much. Too much. Oh my gosh, I can use my thumb. It's crazy. Probably shouldn't be though. I feel like I'm close to actually being able to play a controller game. I might start off with Claire Obscure because that one's not quite as intensive as there we go. That one's not quite as intensive as Silk Song. Oh, I still desperately want to beat Silk Song. I've been mostly unspoiled by like Act 3 especially, and I'm super proud of myself for that. What layer is that on? You see that right there? That's on my canvas. What fractal layer is that on? Excuse me? Hello? Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cotton Eye Joe. Okay, so Cotton Eye Joe, I was thinking about this the other day. I'm pretty sure Cotton Eye Joe is a psyop. Now hear me out. Well, I'm not sure, pretty sure it's a psyop. I mean, if you ever want to know, I think it's actually I take that back. It's not a psyop. I think it's an example of what a psyop actually is. Because for some reason, every American knows that song. It was all played for us when we were like kids in school, and like random things throughout all of our lives. We all know, I didn't bring the back, bro. I've been married a long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Cotton Eye Joe. We all know this song. We've all heard it. And as soon as it comes on, we know what it is. We know it's Cotton Eye Joe. And every American knows it. And nobody else does. Like, and it's like one of those things that we all just know, but we all don't really know why we know it. And I think if there's anything in this world that's an example of like what a psyop is, like trying to get people to recognize something and shove it into the public conscious. Oh my god, it's on this layer. That's what it is. Like, there's my eyelids layer. Okay, go back up here. Like, we all know and recognize it, and we can probably sing at least parts of it. We all couldn't tell you why we all know it. Like, it's just one of those things that, for some reason, was always played at like gatherings and things like that, especially like official gatherings at like schools or like roller rinks or like something like public like that when we were kids. And the song actually is like genuinely nothing. And I don't think there's any like dark conspiracy with it, but I do think, and if you ever want an example of like what a psyop is, Cotton Eye Joe is an example of what a psyop is. Or like how it operates. I feel like I'm putting way too much work into the render for Pencillian. Way more than I did for everybody else. But I kind of like that because it makes them look a little creepier. Alright, there we go. Dude, this is a pretty nice looking pencil, I have to say. Looking good. The metal's messed up. I don't like the metal part. And it's mostly just because it's not... It's not... not. It's not. It's not even on both sides. Oh my god. I'm trying to think of it. It's not a mirror of each other. I was like, that's not it. It's not ubiquitous. That's not it. It's not. I couldn't think of the word. But it was basically trying to say it goes out further on this side than it does on this side. That's what I'm trying to say. Alright. It was only really up at the top. So let me. It's bigger. Man, I should talk to my doctor forever ago about what was going on with my hands. Could have fixed this months ago. I was only supposed to really take like the medicine for like 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks, and like I still shouldn't be doing like this motion with them. I might be able to do this motion. We'll see. I really don't want to push it because I feel like it just got better and I don't want to hurt it again. But I really do want to try a game with controller and see how it feels. Like, just see. Just see. I think I'm gonna take the whole bottle though. Just keep that anti-inflammatory coming. It can only help, right? And it's just I am a little worried because I'm basically taking a prescription strength ibuprofen every day. So I was like, I don't have any problems like coming off of this. Although, let's see. I didn't take it for like 1 day. Actually, no, I did take it that day. And I did start to get a headache, but that could also because I didn't take an ADHD med that day. That I do take every day. That sucks whenever I run out of that. Because there's like a few days where my body, I can literally feel my body trick itself, like around when I would have taken it, and it would have like kicked in. I can feel my body like instantly like giving me like a surge of like, oh hey, there's the focus that you need, and I know my body's just tricking itself because I didn't take it, but it's just still acting like that. But then give it like a week, and I'm sitting there at work like, can't type, I can't do tickets. I know it's really bad whenever I'm doing this with my arm. Whenever I'm like sitting there and like rotating my ulna and my radius as fast as I can, and I like can't do this and I can't type, that's when I know it's really, really bad. It was one of those things that, it was like back in 2024, it was like a 5-week period where I couldn't get it. And it was the worst. It was the worst. I didn't get any like extra work done during that week. When I wasn't on a call, I would just sit there and be like, oh my god, how did I live like this for years? I can't do shit. What is this? Oh my god. Speaking of doing shit, I need to make sure that I actually clean my apartment tomorrow. Because one of the things I told myself I was going to do during this break, just clean my apartment. And tomorrow's day 4, haven't cleaned my apartment yet? No. I got one more day. I do need to do some, whatever it is, laundry tonight, because I don't have any shirts to wear for tomorrow. Oh, I don't think they usually show up on Sundays. Seen Burden a bit too. They've been busy. Alright, I'm gonna do the eyes. I'm gonna have to do the eyes. I'm gonna bring up the thing I was looking at last time. That's like blinding. Blinding. The iris, that's what it is. Okay, that's what it is. I need to do like, he's got crazy irises. Oh my god, it's so bright. I need to turn down the brightness on turn down the brightness on this. Hold on. there's like a nightlight portion where you can kind of give like a kind of an orange glow to it. That actually helps a lot. That makes it look a lot better. Okay, I think we'll leave that on. That more than anything is like, yeah. I don't know if I want to leave that on, especially when I'm gaming, but geesh. Okay. Ooh. I have not blinked in a while. That's a drag. Ooh. Okay. Alright. Alright, so this is mildly helpful. Gives me a place to start. Clip the layer. Wait. Yeah. All right. Here's looking at the color options. Thank you. Let's make this darker and a little bit darker and bluer. Just a touch of blue. Just the faintest touch of blue. Bit. Wish you could see what I'm doing. See how this looks. Okay, yeah, there we go. Here's the really odd thing. His eyes are open super wide. So the normal stuff is just not going to work. Well, it might. Hold on. There we go. Want to blur this just a bit. I think it needs to be kind of a rough look. You can really see. Hold on. I'm so good at drawing curves. Let's see. That's the song I like. Oh yeah, another thing. I don't think I brought this up yesterday. Because we were talking with Callaway. But of all the people I never thought I would see graduate from the VTuber sphere or like go on any sort of an indefinite hiatus, False ID was not one of them. And he said he has like a once in a lifetime opportunity. I really thought like that guy does not seem like the corpo VTuber kind of person. And that's usually the kind of talk someone gives whenever they're like, hey, you know, maybe be on the lookout for me elsewhere. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge. But and I don't know. I didn't think that guy would be like, he's known like the insides of like the corpo VTubing scene is like talk to people on the inside and seem like the worst and the best of it, and even seen stuff like people can't show to like the general public and whatnot. I'm like, what? Really? That guy? I also thought he'd be kind of like, especially for how much he's spoken out against like other corpos, especially Niji Sanji. I thought because he definitely has a bit of an axe to grind with them. They've like copyright strike his videos and did like all sorts of stuff, and he had to like, I think he had to like threaten legal action at one point in order to get them to like back off or whatnot. So he's had like an axe to grind, and he's ground that axe. I thought that would have been like, other corporals really wouldn't want that on their roster, because you still, even if something else is competition, you still want to like be cordial. I don't know. Maybe this once in a lifetime opportunity is something outside of like the VTuber sphere, but if that's the case, then why go on an indefinite hiatus? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe although there's a ton of people that are going on hiatuses and like graduating and whatnot recently. A lot of people think that there might be an EN5 coming for HoloLive. Who knows? Maybe we're getting a new Stars gen here soon. It's been a while. I think the current guys debuted in 2023, so it's been almost 2 years. So who knows? Maybe, although that would kind of be wild if False does end up like joining someone like Stars or whatnot. That'd be kind of crazy, and that would really, I think that would kind of really drive a shift between the fan bases, if I'm going to be honest. Because a lot of the Nijisanji people do not like False because of how he like has talked about them over the years and whatnot. So it's, I don't know. That's the one that like really is just like, really? I didn't expect this coming. Well, he has not been posting as often as he used to. That's for sure. It was a lot fewer and further between. So it was a lot fewer and further between, so maybe? I don't know. So it's just, you know, I never expected. I think that's just the biggest thing. I just never expected that. Not from him. Although I've been hearing there's a lot of people that are like graduating and going on hiatuses and whatnot right now. You've seen them all over the place. There's a bunch of people that are graduating on the 28th of this month. 28th, at the like end of this month, beginning of next month. There's a ton of people. So, and there's a lot of people that are saying like, hey, opportunity of a lifetime. So, and usually whenever that happens, I think someone did the math, and it was like about, let's see, it's usually going to be a few months. Let's see, I don't think there's going to be any in phase anytime soon, because they just had a new generation. So I think if anything, they would probably do some invaders, if anything. But the last batch of invaders had been in the basement for like 2 years before they got in. 2 years. Cleo, Sleepy, and Maury were waiting pretty much. But the new girls, they, I want to say they were waiting about 6 months. I think I heard Mina talk about how it was like just the beginning of that year. Like she'd been waiting like less than a year. So, and they just debuted in October. So I don't really think they're gonna have anything probably for this year. They got FaceCon coming up. I think all their resources are going to that, so I don't think anyone new is coming to Phase. There's probably some people coming to some of the other smaller corpos. People really think there's probably going to be an EN5 here soon. They've, ever since Justice came out, they've lost pretty much entire generation worth of people. Like, Justice debuted, and then after that, Ame went, and then Fauna, and then Gura, and then Mume. So they had 4 people come in, and then they had 4 people leave. So, and they had 1 leave before that. So they're kind of primed for a new group of 5 to come in, really. Or maybe a new group of 4, I don't know. I think Justice was supposed to have 5 in it. What is it? Grimmy talks about how, and she made it very clear how she was in talks with, she had, not in talks, but she had actually been like hired by one of the biggest corpos, like the biggest corpo in the Japanese scene. It was not Niji Sanji. She just straight up said it was not Niji Sanji, and she kind of backed out at the last second because of something that one of the guys from the V Shoujo had said. And if you look at, she did announce that she was going to be going on like graduating, going on like an indefinite hiatus, kind of around the same time that all of the other Justice girls did. So people always make jokes about there being a 5th member of Justice, but there really was, if Grimmy is to be believed, there really was at some point, and it was her, and she backed out, which is probably why Justice is only 4, because it looks like she backed out when things were probably a little bit too far along, and they just had to scrap her entirely. So yeah. Of course, they've kind of been, what is it? Well, no, because Myth was 5, and then Council was Sana, Bei, Crony, Ume, Fano, so that was 5 as well, and then Iris just kind of won there by herself. She's like the weird one. I don't know why they had her go by herself and not just with, like, Council. That's kind of weird. Now they're just all together as Promise, so they eventually figured it out. But there was like a month gap where it was just Iris and Myth, and I remember there was like a month's gap where they called it Mithras. I forgot about that. Actually, I didn't even know about that. That's like the old lore that I learned rather recently, just this year. And then Advent is 5, and then Justice is just randomly 4, and I think it's because it was always supposed to be 5. It was always supposed to be 5, but something happened at the last minute and made it 4. So people have always wondered about that, and I think that's the reason. It's because Grimmy says she's happy with the decision that she made. And I don't know. I think she might be right. I haven't watched a whole lot of her, but just from what I have, I kind of get the vibes that I think she would have done very, very well there. But I think she would have chafed a lot underneath, like, the extraneous, like all the stuff outside of streaming. I think she really would have chafed underneath that. But she would have done very well otherwise. I think it would have been a good fit. So, I don't know. I guess we'll never know. And who knows, maybe there will be an EN5, maybe there'll be a Stars 4? Because it's been 1, 2, 3, yeah, Stars 4. Maybe there'll be some more JP stars. That would be nice. They haven't had any new people in a long time. Although I think Hollow's slowing down a lot on new talents, because they really only did those one new members of Flow Glow last year. Or do they even... I tell you what, ID really needs a Gen 4. ID really needs a Gen 4. I think if anything this year they need ID Gen 4, they need Stars Gen 4, and maybe EN5. And I think if they're gonna keep doing more JP talents, they're gonna be putting them more under like that flow, not the device, like that section, the more like idly section. Actually, they're less idly and more like an idle group. That's kind of like the focus. Yeah, more like an idle group. Yeah, whereas all the gens together were kind of like, we're coming out together, but we're all just kind of like do our own thing, and we'll like hang out together and whatnot. But when they're underneath the device, like each generation is supposed to be like their own like group, like in like an idol group, like in the traditional sense. So it's way more focus on that. They still do their own things, but there's a way more of a group focus amongst them, way more. Which I think is intentional. Is there anything more I need to do with Pencillian? This stupid pencil is one of the best things I've ever drawn. Oh no. Look at this. This is good. What the hell? What is this? I need to go back and I need to actually like... I need to go back and I need to update Jeremy. I usually do this thing where... Hold on. I usually do this thing where I'll go back and I'll like... fill in the line art. I generally don't want to do that with this. I think it looks better, like a lot better with the line art. But we can kind of like grab some of this and see here. So if we grab this and make it just like a touch darker. Okay. Well, we can see. He looks strangely naked, I'm gonna be honest. Let's try some more of these bits. Let's grab this, grab that, make it darker, okay. This is my usual, how I usually go about this. I don't know. We'll do it, and then we'll see. If I don't like it, it's super easy to change all of this back to black. That's not an issue. Darker, and actually hit post there. There we go. Who knows? Maybe we'll end up liking this at the end of the day. This is what I did for everybody else, but I just genuinely don't want to do that for Pencillian. I feel like the black lines actually make them look better. Okay, maybe I am onto something here, because I kind of like that actually. we'll see how it actually ends up looking with all of this yellow. This is going to be the real test here. Veggie. Am I gonna end up liking this? Or am I gonna end up liking it all black more? I want to keep his mouth black. I might keep the mouth all black though. If I do end up going this way. Ooh, okay. Hold on a second. I might be onto something here. We'll see. I should take a picture of what it looks like when it's all black. Of course, I can just go back through and actually just make it all black, and then I can go back and forth in between it and see which one I like more. That's actually going to be a lot easier. Okay, gotta make it a little smaller here. I'm just thinking about this. I told myself about Hololive. It really stinks that Brower is going to be out. She had to take like time off for like her throat surgery and all that, and vocal nodes, and now she's kind of stuck with like stuff with her like visa and whatnot. Because I know people who are like A, emigrating, or like B, have like visas. I've been really struggling with that right at the moment. Okay, well now the eyes look goofy because they got that black. I think this needs to be actually, I think this needs to be a lighter color. I think this needs to be like gray. No, it needs to be even lighter than that. Okay. So that black is just, it's too much now that I've gotten rid of it everywhere else. Man, if I don't do this for Pencillian though, he's not gonna have the same like design aesthetic as everybody else. So that means like either A, I need to go with this for Pencillian, even if it's not as good, or B, I need to change everybody else. And frankly, I don't want to change everybody else. It's all the trains that have been going by in my... Can you hear that? Train going by. They seem to only be coming around at night recently. Laying on their whistles. Nowhere near as bad as where I grew up, though. Grew up in a town where we heard the train constantly. It was a normal part of everyday life. We had, and anytime we drove anywhere downtown, we had to stop and take into account, hey, is there going to be a train? Because if there is, that means we needed to take the bridge that they finally built to get around it. If not, then we were stuck. Okay, I do end up really liking that too. Okay, one thing I am gonna do is I'm gonna grab this color and I'm gonna fill in the lips. See if I like that. What do we got here? Does this still work? Is this just real life? Or is this just fantasy? Caught in a landslide, no escape from reality. Alright, I need to stop singing or I get copyright. Line's way too pixely. I think that's the thing. I just don't like how pixely my lines are. Is that because of the brush I'm using? It could be because of the brush I'm using. Am I using like that brush or I'm using this brush? I don't know. I thought I was using that one. Okay, yeah, that did actually help the mouth a lot. Look at him. Look at my stupid fat chud son. Hold on. Just to make sure I'm not crazy. We're going to do this. And we're going to make this super big. Because now that I've done all that, I can just kind of do this, change it all to black. Then I can just undo to change it back to this. Okay, yeah, I do like that more. I do like my usual modus operandi more, where you actually fill in the line art. Look at that. This is seriously one of the best things I've ever drawn. I was kind of like whatever about Pencillian, but now that I'm looking at him complete, I'm like, damn, I actually did it. Look at this. Look at this stupid thing. This is awesome. He looks good. I put way too much work into the rendering, but it was also kind of fun too. I need to draw a person after this. I haven't drawn someone in a long time. Well, no, next what I need to do is I need to figure out like, mouth open talking. Hey! And like, because right now his eyes are kind of closed. That's probably something I'll be working on over this next week is because I want to get him and Dorothea like done and ready to be PNG tubers. And what you need to do for that is I need to cut out his eyes and I need to fill in everything behind them. Then I need to have two versions of his eyes. One where his like mouth closed and one where his like eyes open. Let's see, I need two versions of his eyes, two versions of his mouth. One for like when his mouth is closed, so like this. And then one when his mouth is open. Where the eyes are going to be even more unhinged and there's going to be even less eyelids. Or I might just have it where it's like the big eye closes more and the wide eye and the small eye opens more. We'll see. We'll see. We'll play around with it a bit. I need to do something, well, not something similar, but I need to do the exact same thing for Dorothea. I've already done those for Jeremy. And then that should be pretty easy And then I just need to put all those into PNG Tuber and see if I can find a way to like switch around in between them like with ease. That would be the best thing. I might have to set something up in OBS for that. I don't know. Luckily, PNG Tuber isn't like a very resource heavy program, so I just need to have everything set up and ready to go, and then profit. Then I just need to stop being scared of my cringe and just accept it, internalize it, and go with it, and just start treating them like their actual character. Not just things that I've made that I use every once in a while. Because if I actually like lean into it, I'm like, yes, it's a Jeremy. I like that. Hey guys, it's Jeremy. Hello everyone, it's Dorothea. If I actually just start doing that and like bringing them out all the time, then yeah. I need to start treating them like they're actually there. It would be cool if I could. I'm starting to think about things. Like maybe I could have something like at the bottom, like right around in here, where they're all three there. Just like waiting, and whenever one wants to talk, it just like pops up and like takes over my screen, and then it actually becomes like active at that point. I think I could maybe do something like that. I probably have to watch some videos to see if I could, but yeah. So it's like they're always kind of all like there on the screen. It's just, and they're waiting to take over at any moment, which just never know who it's gonna be. And maybe they'll start playing. They have to ask like, how you play it? I gave them the controller. Okay, makes sense. You sit in my chair, that's how. You sit on chair every no. He judges people who sits on him. He judges their butts. He's really harsh. Yep. But I think that's the thing, and then I have to really like lean into them in the actual like marketing of my channel. Like they got to be there. I need to change like PFPs and do all that fun stuff. I'm not gonna do any sort of like debut or anything like that. Maybe eventually in the future, but right now I'm operating under the first you make it and then later you make it good kind of process for making art. Because right now I'm at the just make it territory. So that's what we're doing. All right, with that, Pencillian is done. Yay! Look at him. Look at my stupid, beautiful chud son. I don't know, I'm on the wrong thing. This is genuinely one of the best things I've ever drew. The best thing I ever drew was that Sheena one that I did last year. I need to draw another person. I also have an idea for doing little comics or Wilhelmina Frost. From the perspective of her like villagers. And I want them to just be like these like big stupid guys who can't talk. Except for like this one crier who's like the weakest one. Because her voice of wilderness is always like, my lord, my lady, captain, the villagers, we've lost all our galleons again. Not again. Oh, but basically I have a couple ideas for little like stupid comics where basically we're just all like bumbling idiots in love with her. Try not to mess things up too much. Oh man. Anyways, I think we're gonna call it here because I've got this done. I have some little extra stuff that we need to do. That's gonna be its own stream, really. And it's gonna be also a lot of cutting as well. I need to cut stuff out, put it onto its own layers. I need to mess with stuff as well, because I need to. We have the stuff for the mouth, and then I need to just put the mouth into its own. I need to cut out the line art, as well as like. Actually, first thing what I need to do with this, because I think I did this last time, was I made a folder for just the mouth and just for the eyes, and then I put all of the stuff, like the line art, as well as like all the coloring, the shading, everything. Put everything for just that section in its own folder by itself, separate from everything else. And then I made changes from there. Yeah. I copied stuff that I needed to, pasted stuff over, did a little bit of like recoloring. And then one thing that's very important is that you have to make sure you go underneath and you color in all the areas it's kind of behind it. Except for like the eyes, you don't really got to do that. You got to fill it in like a little bit just in case. But yeah, it's been a while since I set it up. I set up Jeremy back in like mid 2025 or something like that. Actually no, it was the last. It was. I set him up around like August 2025. So finally getting these guys ready to go. I'm probably gonna have to go back and completely redo Jeremy because he looks way worse than Pencillian. Looks way worse. Probably gonna have to at least redo his eyes, but we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. I need to make these two first, and then we'll go back to maybe change things later. We'll see. But it's gonna be very obvious. But it's gonna be very obvious once he's on the board and Dorothea, which one I made last. Just like, oh, you can definitely see he got better as he went along. Ooh. Anyways, all right, we're gonna call it here. It's been fun. It's been real. It's been real fun. That's not quite been a fun reel. I'll be back tomorrow. I'm probably gonna do more art tomorrow. I wanna, while I'm like in an art mood, and especially as I'm feeling good that I completed this, I want to get all that other stuff done. Then maybe do some maybe gaming. Maybe I'll play some Clair Obscure, get back into that, because I can actually maybe hold a controller now. Yay! Anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow with a continuation of stream every day in February. We're on our last week of that, so only missed 3 days. Oh, it's close. I am definitely. Let's see. First day of March is. Let's see. The last day of March is. Oh, the last day of. Yeah, the last day of February is a Saturday. And then it's March 1st. I might. Let's see. I might take a break at those first 2 weeks of March so I can work on something else. Might. Yeah, something I want to make, but I don't know if I have enough for it yet. I'm gonna have to really lock in and do some fun stuff this week. I just have to look back through stuff that I've done previously. I did a lot this month, and it all kind of blends together after a while. But I want to feel like that. We'll see. No, I want to actually I want to get these guys done, and I want to do some stuff with them first. So yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, we'll do that. We'll focus on getting these guys done first. I wanted to get them done by the end of this month, and gosh darn it, I can if I just lock in this last week. So that's what we're gonna do. Anyways, I will see you guys tomorrow. Y'all have a good one. Peace.